Good evening and welcome to your very own BYJU'S 9th and 10th grade channel. I'm your teacher Aishwarya and I welcome you to today's class, which is going to be a complete chapter revision of our first chapter in biology and the most important chapter, that is fundamental unit of life. And today we are going to be revising all the concepts that we've already studied from this particular chapter by revising important objective questions which have been taken up from the NCERT Exemplar. Right, so today we are going to be looking at some slightly applied, slightly easy questions also. But this right here, of course, is going to help us apply our concepts and revise whatever we have learned. Because as you all know, from grade 9th and 10th, as a matter of fact, from 6th to 10th itself, CBSE is going to be slowly moving towards competency-based questions wherein you need to apply your concepts and in order to make sure that you've understood it well, which is why today we are going to be doing a total of 30 questions in 1 hour. Are you all ready for today's challenge? Yes, so I hope all of you guys are ready with your notebooks, your pens, your textbooks, and everything is ready with you. And very quickly, good evening to all of my students who are here, who are here on the live chat at the moment. I do understand there are some concerns that we will be discussing about very soon. But students, I hope very quickly that my audio, my video, and my screen and whatever I've written on my screen is visible to all of you. If it is, give me a quick thumbs up in the chat to let me know that we are good to go. And yes, I will take your doubts as well, right? I will be taking it, so don't worry about it. Yes? Hello everyone, hello. Now as you know, today is going to be a challenge for all of you, right? We are going to be doing a total of 30 questions in 60 minutes, right? So that's going to be a good challenge for all of us. So very quickly, everybody, mark your attendance by hitting that like button. And if you are somebody who's watched this video much later after the live stream, you can quickly go into it and have a look at the questions and how we are solving it. And Junior World, we are sorting it out in the back end and making sure that we are making it easy for you. So please make sure that, you know, we will be providing all the notes at one go. We will be providing it chapter wise as well. Now very quickly to inform you students, today there is no mentee, right? So it's not going to be a mentee session, but rather we will be doing YouTube polls. So I hope all of you are ready, right? Now of course, as you all know, we have completed all of the concepts. We have done in-depth concept sessions which has been taken live, where we have premiered videos, right? And of course the NCERT solutions, we're not repeating it, but it's already available on the channel, and very soon the links of these videos will be available on the description below. So if you all want an in-depth understanding of each of these concepts that we have done, please make sure that you go ahead and click on the respective links which are there in the description. It's getting updated as we speak, and you will get redirected to the necessary videos wherever you want in-depth concept explanation, right? And if you are very new to the channel, as you all know, right, every day at 6 p.m. grade 9 has classes. Today is of course biology, tomorrow you have physics, and of course we follow this timetable quite regularly, especially for your academic classes. So please make sure that you hit the subscribe button if you want regular notifications. If any of you are very new to the channel and you don't know what really goes on and what time you have to come, take a screenshot right away so that you will be able to see it, right? So I hope all of you are ready. Shall we get started? Alright students, please make sure that all of you share this video with your friends, because I do understand that a lot of you here have your unit tests coming very soon, right? I can see that there was a community post which was updated and many 9th standard students have gone and said, ma'am, fundamental unit of life is coming, fundamental unit of life is coming. So in the next few weeks, right, we will make sure that all of us will be doing questions, we'll do 15-minute summaries, right? And we'll be doing a lot of bits and pieces where you will constantly keep, you know, revising this chapter so that it's at the tip of your fingers and you will never forget, right? Okay, so let's get started everybody. Let's get started with the poll attack. Anish, it will be at 7:15 p.m. today. Yes, alright. Is there a summary? Actually, we don't have a summary per se. We're just going to directly get to the questions. But as we go ahead with the concepts, I will be summarizing the topics, right? So let's get started everybody with question number 1. The polls are live on your live class. On your live chat. And the question is, which of the following can be made into a crystal Is it bacterium, amoeba, a virus, or a sperm? Now, as you can see, these are objective questions, and normally in your board examinations, your section A is filled with this, right? And I'm sure even in your exams that happen in school, they'll be following a very similar pattern where they're going to be giving you some objective-based questions. So we're talking about which can be crystallized. Now, the concept we are going to apply is what is it that makes an organism, right? Or if I take anything as living, right? How do I consider if it is living or non-living? So we're going to take a very basic concept. Now, if I have a pen or if I have an amoeba, how am I categorizing that a pen that is there is, non-living, while a amoeba that is there is living? It's very simple and easy, and I can see that most of you are giving me the correct answer, and I can see that. Let's close the poll, please, and almost 75% of you have given me the correct answer, which is option C, virus. Now see, when I talk about crystal, right, we are talking about the process of crystallization. Now see, it's not quite direct, little bit of chemistry coming in. What is this concept of crystallization? We know that it is the process of forming solid crystals, right? So we see like it forms a solid crystal-like structure. Now in the case of living organisms, or if I say that a certain organism is living, we see that every living organism is made up of the basic structural and functional unit, which is a cell, right? And we know that a bacterium, an amoeba, and a sperm, they are all made up of cells, right? The basic structural and functional unit, which is why we see that living cells cannot be easily crystallized. While in the case of a virus, we know that virus is somewhere between living and non-living, right? Which is why in this case, a virus that is there can be crystallized, which is why we see that the correct answer is option C. Easy peasy. And now we have recalled the basic concept that all living organisms are made up of the fundamental unit of life, which is the cell. Moving on to the next question. This here is from the concept of types of solutions. So take some time and have a look at it. These are statement-based questions, okay? A cell will swell up if A, the concentration of water molecules in the cell is higher than the concentration of water molecules in the surrounding medium. B, the concentration of water molecules in the surrounding medium is higher than the water molecules concentration in the cell. C, the concentration of water molecules is same in the cell and same in the surrounding medium. Concentration of water molecules does not matter. Now see, these kind of questions, especially when it comes to concentration of solutions or types of solutions, these are questions which are very, very common, right? So these are questions which are quite common. So as we all know, if a cell, which is the basic unit, has to swell up, then we know that there is entry of water molecules, right? Only if something enters will something swell up. So if water has to enter, we know that water moves from a region of high concentration to low concentration, right? So as we all know, in this case, 95% of you, that is amazing, right? Very good students. 95 of you here have given me the correct answer. So can we close the polls, please? Yes, all right. So 163 votes in, and well done. The correct answer here is that the concentration of water molecules in the surrounding medium is higher than water molecule concentration in the cell. Now, quick question. Is this a hypotonic solution or is it a hypertonic solution? Very quickly. Yes, hypotonic or hypertonic. This is something that you need to have a look at, right? Hypo or hyper? Exactly, right? Hypo means less, right? Hypo means less. That means they have less solute. While hyper means I am hyperactive. That means more, right? So here it means that more solute, less water, which is what hypotonic solutions are. Those solutions which have more water molecules with respect to the cell, right? Hypertonic solution has less water molecules with respect to the cells, right? Very simple and easy. So Ansh, hypertonic, bacha, you are in 8th grade. It's very complicated for you. So kindly go back and watch the videos where I've done it in greater detail, right? Okay. So now we will move on to the next question, right? Easy peasy. All right. Dhruv, yes, I will pause. Maybe we'll do 15 questions and I'll pause and take a doubt board, right? But more or less I can see that there are some simple ones. See, solute is nothing but a solid substance, right? So we see that solute is nothing but what we dissolve in the solution, and a solvent is nothing but wherein the solute gets dissolved, right? So solute and solvent are basically, normally solutes can be solids or liquids. Normally solvents tend to be, you know, liquids. So there's a lot of it. But see, more of it you will learn in chemistry anyway. And I've done a detailed session. See, I've done detailed classes on this. So please go back and watch that. It will definitely help you. So moving on, can we have the poll please? Chromosomes are made up of what? DNA, protein, DNA and protein, or is it only RNA? Now, when we talk about a cell, we know that a cell is living, and all cells have basic components. So they have cell membrane, they have cytoplasm, and of course we see that they have a nucleus, right? And we know that inside the nucleus the genetic material is present, which is in the form of chromosomes, right? And we know that the chromosomes that are there are made up of what, right? Yes, many of you are voting in, and I can see that almost 160 votes are in. Amazing guys, almost 95% of you have voted for option C, and the correct answer is option C. So this genetic material that I told you is nothing but DNA. Now everybody will ask me, ma'am, what is DNA? So one more time for all of you, which is deoxyribonucleic acid, right? Everybody please write this down. DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. What is RNA? RNA is ribonucleic acid, right? And we see that DNA is the genetic material. That means it has all the information regarding what we should look like, what functions we should carry out, so on and so forth. But what is the function of RNA? RNA mainly helps us with protein synthesis, right? So we see that RNA helps us with protein synthesis, all right? And we see that this genetic material, so in our body, because the DNA is very, very long, it needs to get packaged, which is why DNA and proteins combine, and we see that they are highly coiled, resulting in the formation of chromosomes. Easy peasy. Let's move on to question number 4, everyone. Yes, question number 4. Now you have 4 statements which are given to you, from which you need to identify the correct statements, or which among these options are not a function of ribosomes. So here you need to identify the function of ribosome and then identify which is not a function. It helps in manufacture of protein synthesis, helps in manufacture of enzymes, it helps in manufacture of hormones, and it helps in the manufacture of starch, right? So it helps in manufacture of hormones and it helps in manufacture of starch molecules. All right. Okay, everybody, the poll is live for all of you. Very good, 160 votes. And can we please close the polls? Is the polls done? Many of you have said, ma'am, 3 and 4. Okay. Now, how many of you believe that, okay, ma'am, enzymes are produced by ribosomes, right? See, at the end of the day, what we observe is that there are enzymes, which are mainly, enzymes are nothing but they are kind of proteins only which are there, right? So we see that protein molecules and enzymes are manufactured by ribosomes, but hormones that are there need not be made of proteins. There are some which are made of fatty molecules. We call them as steroid hormones, right? So we see that hormones and starch molecules are not essentially, right? They're not essentially manufactured by ribosomes, which is why the correct answer here is option C, which is 3 and 4. Yes? Are we clear? You have all scored 4 out of 4 marks. Yes? 4 out of 4 marks easily you have scored. Very good. Star mark for all of you, right? Yes, Govind, you can come back and watch the video. Not a problem, but you have to give me the answer to the homework question. Don't forget that. Moving on. Yes, simple. Let's move on to the next part where we're going to be dealing a little bit more about the cell organelles that are there. So which among the following is not related to endoplasmic reticulum, right? So A, it behaves as a transport channel for proteins between nucleus and cytoplasm. It transports materials between various regions in the cytoplasm. It can be a site of energy generation. It can be the site for some biochemical activities. What is it? Okay, so I had a question saying what are hormones made up of? See, you have different kinds of hormones, right? You have steroid hormones. There are some hormones which are proteinaceous of nature. So the composition of hormones keeps varying depending upon what kind of hormone it is. For example, your testosterone is actually a steroid hormone that is there. But you have various different kinds also. So their chemical composition is quite different. Varies from hormone to hormone, I would say. Yes. Okay, everybody's like, ma'am, C, everywhere answer is C. Oh. This is NCERT Exemplar questions for all of you, right? Hello Pradeep, hello. So now we're talking about a cell organelle. So now we discussed that every cell, especially every eukaryotic cell, will have cell membrane, cytoplasm, nucleus, but we also know that they have cell organelles. One such cell organelle that is there is the endoplasmic reticulum. Now when we talk about endoplasmic reticulum, I can see that many of you have understood the functioning of endoplasmic reticulum because we see that it behaves as a transport channel for proteins between the nucleus and the cytoplasm. We know that it's also responsible for transporting things to different parts of the cytoplasm, and it is the site of some biochemical activities also. We also know that lipid synthesis happens. But energy generation, we know that at all times it is the function of another cell organelle, which is mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of our cell, right? So this is the correct answer, or this is not related to the ER. Moving on to the next one. Yes, this is a very, very important question, everybody. So please have a look, right? Following are the few definitions of osmosis. Read carefully and select the correct definition. Now take a minute and please have a look. Now I understand some parallel conversations are happening in the live chat, but I request all of you to make sure that you do not have parallel conversations. Just keep paying attention to me. I'm trying to, go through the questions fast so that I reserve some amount of time to take your doubts, because I know some good doubts are coming my way. I'm trying to answer them as much as we go, but please make sure that you pay attention in class. So the poll is live for all of you as well. So I request you to answer in the polls. All right, many of you are saying, ma'am, it is C. Okay. Yes. All right, everybody, C is the correct answer is what many of you are telling me, because I think so far C was the answer. So you're like, ma'am, let's just go with C. But let's have a look. It's definitely A. Now I can see some competition happening for this. Now 89% has voted for option A, while about 6% only voted for C. Okay. Well done all of you for that 89%. The correct answer is option A. Now understand, what is osmosis? Osmosis is the movement of water molecules, right? Water molecules from where to where? From a region of its higher concentration to a region of its lower concentration. But is it just randomly moving? Absolutely not. So we see that there is a semi-permeable membrane involved, not a permeable membrane, right? Permeable means freely permeable. It allows everything to go, right? So that is something you need to focus. Movement of solvent from high to low concentration, half definition. If semi-permeable is not mentioned, then you should not have a look, right? Then again, this is saying, ma'am, low to high. No, this is not the case. So correct answer is option A for all of you to remember. Moving on to question number 7. Now we're talking about a very, very important thing. Plasmolysis in a plant cell is defined as what? Now this is a slightly tricky question because concept of plasmolysis can be tricky for some of us, right? So is it the breakdown or the lysis of plasma membrane in a hypotonic medium? Is it shrinkage of cytoplasm in a hypertonic medium? Is it shrinkage of nucleoplasm? Or is it none of them? Yes? Okay, can we have the poll a little longer, Ravi? Let's not close it immediately. Okay. Ma'am, please read the question as well as the options. Yes, I will read the options, right? I will read it. Moving on, everybody's like, ma'am, what is plasmolysis? See, students, if your unit tests are coming close, you need to make sure that all of you are paying attention, right? And yes, Shubha, we will be doing a long answer questions also. We started with objective, then we will switch to long answers. We will take tissues. You don't worry about it. So let's close the polls, please. We have a good number of students who have answered, around 150 students. And 75 of you have got it correctly, right? Very good, very good. 75 of you have got it correctly, which says that it is the shrinkage of cytoplasm in a hypertonic medium, right? Yes. So now very quickly I'm going to explain this, right? So now see, this is your plant cell. Yes. So I'm just roughly drawing a plant cell, and this right here is your, so let's assume that this right here is a cell wall, right? So if this right here is my cell wall, we know my cell wall is quite rigid. Now when I place my plant cell in a hypertonic medium, yes, it's extremely hypertonic. That means very little water molecules, right? So we see that lot of water, almost everything has escaped out, which means along with your cell membrane, which is what Harsimran asked me, yes, your cell membrane will also shrink, right? It will shrink to one corner and it will be only this. So all the water has, shrunk, all the water has gone out into the surroundings because it has been kept in a hypertonic medium, right? And we see that now all the water has gone, leaving only with the the remaining constituents that are there, and we see that it shrunk away from the cell wall, leaving a lot of space here, which is why in this case the correct answer here is shrinkage in hypertonic medium. All right, very good. Moving on to the next one. Which of the following are covered by a single membrane, right? So as you can all see, we have mitochondria, vacuole, lysosome, plastid. We're talking about which is covered by a single membrane, or which cell organelle is covered by a single membrane, which cell organelle is covered by double membrane. So identify the double membrane ones, yes, and then identify the single membrane ones, yes. Harsimran, for that question, I will not give the answer to your question that you asked me because I have a question based on that. So I will tell you when I finish answering that, when we get to that question. Very good, all of you, very good. Most of you here have got the correct answer. All right, amazing work, almost 100 odd votes, and I think we can close the polls. Yes, very good, very good. So now in this case, most of you have given me the correct answer. Oh, there's actually a confusion going on between A, B and C. I can see many of you are saying, ma'am, lysosome. Okay. So in this case, see, lysosome that is there, it is not lysosome, but it's vacuole. And we see that the vacuole that is there is covered by a single membrane structure, which we call as tonoplast. So in this case, the correct answer here is option B, vacuole. Yes? All right, very good, all of you, very good. Yes, so some of you who are a little bit confused, I hope now you are clear. Yes, so we're at question number 8. Long way to go, right, to quickly revise. So let's move on. Yes, you need to read all the options. Exactly. Now, I understand that for many of you, probably this is the first video that you are watching. Now, this video is this live session is happening on the basis that you have already learned the chapter Fundamental Unit of Life. If there are topics that you have not understood, please go back to the beginning of this video where I tell you what are the sessions that you need to look for to learn better. And if you still have further doubts, you let me know in the comments of this video. I will help you out. So moving on, everybody, find out the false sentences, or find out the incorrect sentence. You have 4 options. Option A is Golgi apparatus is involved in the formation of lysosomes. B is mitochondria, nucleus and plastids have DNA, hence they're able to make their own proteins. C says that mitochondria is said to be powerhouse as ATP is generated. D says that cytoplasm is called as protoplasm. Yes? All right. Okay, very good, all of you, very good. So now you know why I did not take any protoplasm related questions, because many of you have now given me the correct answer, right? So in this case, we see that the correct answer here is option D, which is cytoplasm is called as protoplasm. Now we know that all these 3 statements are true, right? So we know that all these statements are true. But in this case, can I say cytoplasm is same as protoplasm? Yes or no? How can we say cytoplasm is also called as protoplasm? Then why should I call it protoplasm? Why can't I just say cytoplasm, right? Now the reason being that cytoplasm that is there is the viscous fluid, right? It is the viscous jelly-like fluid which is present between the nucleus and the cell membrane. While your protoplasm that is there includes all the living components. Now what are all the living components of the cell? You only tell me, right? Yes. What are all the living components? That includes your cytoplasm. So that includes your protoplasm, right? So which is why in this case we see that your nucleus, we know that your cytoplasm, all of that makes up your protoplasm. Yes? Easy peasy, okay? What is protoplasm and cytoplasm? I am just telling you what is what, right? Simple. Now all your living components make up your protoplasm, okay? That is a simple, easy way of remembering, right? All right. Now let's move on to our question number 10, right? We are reaching our first milestone. Question number 10. Identify the correct sentences. Again, this is for 1 mark, right? So enzymes packed in lysosomes are made through RER. SER and RER produce lipid and proteins respectively. ER is related to destruction of plasma membrane, or nucleoid is present inside the nucleoplasm of eukaryotic cells. What is the answer? Okay, I can see this is also a very tricky kind of thing that is happening, right? Now I am seeing some very dangerous emojis coming my way just because I missed a question. See, I will take your questions, right? So everybody, I request you, I will take that question once I finish this. All right. All right, everybody. Quickly, can you tell me? All right, can we close the polls? Ravi? Okay, so here I can see that there is a tie between B and C. Many of you have voted saying that ma'am, A is the correct sentence, while some of you are a little bit confused with B and C. Now, whenever you say it is respectively, it means that it's saying RER produces lipid and SER produces proteins. This statement is false. Somebody voted for D. Nucleoid is present in nucleoplasm. Now, nucleoid is something we see in prokaryotic cells. We do not find it in eukaryotic cells, which is why in this case, this is also false. Which is why in this case, we see that the correct answer here is option A, which is enzymes, right? We know that enzymes that are there, that are packed, certain enzymes we know at the end of the day are proteins, they are made with the help of the RER, right? So correct answer here is option A. So far, apart from I think one question, most of you have got the answers correctly. So at this point, we are at a score of 9 out of 10, right? So students, all of you have scored 9 out of 30, I would say, right? Total of 30 questions. Now we still have a long way to go, right? We have a long way to go. We have 20 more questions in the next half an hour. Now I understand that lot of you have doubts as well which you want me to teach. Yes, and clear. So I have a question for all of you. How about we take another live class maybe this week itself, maybe at 5 p.m. where we do a doubt solving session. How about we do that? Maybe I will come or Ankita ma'am will come or both of us will come together and take the doubt solving class. How about we do that? Because if we club everything together, then it's going to be very difficult. No, and I understand all of you have a lot of doubts here. So we will do it at 5 p.m. on one particular day. We will inform you 2 days prior. Yes? So we will do it 2 days prior. We will inform you in the channel, right? Yes. Okay. Yes. We will come together or we will plan it. Don't worry. Okay? Yes. So now will you focus on the class? So right now, write down your doubts. You can let me know in the comments of this video also so that we can pick all these doubts and then we can take it one at a time, right? So let whatever doubts that are there that I might miss today, yes, whatever I will miss today in today's class, let me know in the comments, right? So all of you know that lots of love from my side. I always want to make sure that you understand and learn everything, right? Very good. Now, very good students. Now, one last thing that I have is if you have enjoyed today's class so far, do not forget to hit the subscribe button and please make sure that you do not forget to hit the like button on this video. We should have at least 200 likes. Yes, we should have at least 200 likes on this video. Okay. Yes. Now moving on to everybody, we're going to move on to the next set of questions, and I know all of you can have many doubts. We will take it, don't worry. Moving on to the next one. Which cell organelle plays a crucial role in detoxifying many poisons and drugs in a cell? Is it Golgi apparatus, lysosome, smooth endoplasmic reticulum, or is it vacuoles? Now we are talking about the cell organelle which is involved in detoxification. I will give you a clue. This is a very important sentence which is present in your NCERT as an additional function of this particular cell organelle. Now the poll is live and I can see many of you are telling me, ma'am, there is competition between lysosome and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. We're talking about detoxification of toxic substances. And especially we see that in vertebrates, this is a very important role, right? Very good. I can see that we can close the polls, and in this case the correct answer is option C, which is smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Yeah, right? So we see that in vertebrates, especially in the liver cells, right? So in the liver cells, we observe that the smooth endoplasmic reticulum not only does, what it has to do, synthesis of lipids, but it also ensures that it helps in detoxification, right? All right, very good, all of you, very good. So quickly, let's move on to the next set of questions. The next question is, the proteins and lipids essential for building cell membrane is manufactured by who? Is it endoplasmic reticulum? Is it Golgi apparatus, plasma membrane, or mitochondria, right? So everybody, please give me a quick, just give me 1 minute, and in the meanwhile, the poll is live. Yes, we can close the polls, please. Very good. 84% of you have given me the correct answer. And the correct answer here is option A, endoplasmic reticulum. Now, of course, we know that the ER is responsible for building the proteins and lipids. So now, of course, the process of formation of cell membrane is what we call as membrane biogenesis. And we know that the ER along with the Golgi play an important role. Now, quickly, I would like to go back to a particular question which was actually marked wrong, which is question number 8, wherein we see that there's a lot of, conversation happening. Going back, I understand that this was marked as vacuole, but lysosome is also the correct answer. So as per NCERT Exemplar, they have marked vacuole, keeping the fact that it is single membrane, and that is the fact. But in this case, lysosome is also single membrane, so the answer should actually be both B and C. So I sincerely apologize, right? Yes, it can be both. So as per, we marked it as per Exemplar, but the thing is, we should be, it was my bad that I did not mark it properly, so I apologize. But students, let's have our concept cleared, which is that lysosome is also single membrane. So these are both correct answers. Yes? And I will give you 10 out of 10 because most of you marked lysosomes and then I cut 1 mark. So I'll give you 10 out of 10, okay? So far we are at 10 out of 10. So now let's quickly move on. So shall we move on? I'll add 1 mark to your score, okay? Yes, I will see that I just went to cross check once, so to make sure that I'm passing the correct information. It was just some confusion that happens. So I quickly went and checked an Exemplar textbook that I have here with me. That's why I wanted to make sure that it's all proper. Moving on to question number 13. Okay, let's move on, right? Yes, sometimes it happens, it's okay. The undefined nuclear region of prokaryotes are also known as what? Is it nucleus, nucleolus, is it nucleic acid, or is it nucleoid region? I've told you most of the answers by now. See, the remaining set of questions that are there are very easy, okay? Half of it I've already given you the answer. So we can pace it up a little bit, right? Everyone, easy peasy. So I think for good number of you are giving me the answer. I'm just going to have a look at it on my phone as well. 49 votes in. Many more votes to go, and of course this is a very easy one, 136 votes. And of course we see that the correct answer here is option D, right? See, undefined nuclear region in prokaryotic cells. That means that they don't have a well-developed nuclear membrane, right? So we see that the genetic material that is there is found concentrated in one specific region. And we call this as the nucleoid region, right? So this is specifically in prokaryotes, and the genetic material is not found we don't find it enclosed we don't find it enclosed in a nuclear membrane, right? Yes. Okay, ma'am, there was some issue with the poll. I will give you marks for this. 13 out of 13. See, most of you knew the answer, so I will give you marks. Okay. Yes. See, in the case of, now ribosome synthesis, Shelly, for your question, before I get to that, I'll give the question here. Cell organelle which is involved in the formation of complex sugar from simple sugars is which cell organelle? Endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes, plastids, or Golgi apparatus, right? So in the meanwhile, we have the polls ready, and I'm going to take Shelly's question, wherein Shelly is like, ma'am, if nucleolus is responsible for synthesizing ribosomes, how is it that prokaryotes have ribosomes? Now you understand that the type of ribosomes that we find in eukaryotic cells and prokaryotic cells are not the same. They are different, right? Which is why we see that to synthesize the kind of ribosomes that you find, especially the which we call as rRNA, right? The ribosomal RNA that is there. It's quite different, yes? Which is why we see that because you have a nucleoplasm synthesizing your ribosomes, you have one kind of it in eukaryotic cells. You have a different mechanism of synthesis in the case of your prokaryotic cells. I hope I have answered your question. So let's move on to the next one, right? Now I can see many of you have given me the answer. We can wind up the polls, and of course I can see that the correct answer here, majority of you have voted for option D, which is Golgi apparatus. Now we know that the primary function of the Golgi apparatus that is there is of course packaging, right? Yes, so as you all know, right, packaging and synthesizing proteins, yes? I mean, not packaging, packaging and modification of proteins. Oh my god, I got carried away. Modification of proteins. But apart from that, right, we also know that the Golgi apparatus is there, can also be involved in synthesizing some complex sugars from simple sugars that are there. Yes? So the poll was done very quickly, so I hope that all of you have voted. Now very quickly students, we've been through 14 questions and I'm going to give you the 15th question on your screen now. And we are halfway through and we have 20 more minutes for 15 questions, which I think is doable. Now of course, which among the following is not a function of the vacuole? Storage, providing turgidity and rigidity to the cell, waste excretion, or locomotion? Which among the following here is not a function? So can you all quickly tell me? Yes, you can. For those of you who have tests tomorrow, I would always recommend that after the live stream, you can just put this on 2x, watch the questions, pause, solve, then go ahead, right? Yes. Is this question to be answered by quiz? This is in your NCERT Exemplar, grade 9. And you know that when you are studying, you have to do NCERT textbook questions, you have to do exemplar questions, then we will move on to other books. This is the pedagogy, or this is the flow that we will follow, right? Because normally in your examination they will ask you from these two. Yes. All right, everybody, I can see 74% of you here have voted for option D, right? So in this case, we see that the correct answer here is option D, locomotion. So locomotion is nothing but movement, right? So we see that it is the movement from point A to point B, right? So if I move my arm, I am changing the position of my arm, right? So my arm is not going from here to all the way to the other side of the room, right? So but here in this case, locomotion is when if I come from Bangalore to Ludhiana, right? I am locomoting from Bangalore to Ludhiana. My whole body is moving from there to there, right? So if my amoeba has to go from here to here, point A to point B, I will say it is locomotion, right? So students who are confused with locomotion, that is what we mean by this, moving from point A to point B. Now, storage and waste excretion we know is a function of vacuole. But how is providing turgidity and rigidity to the cell a function of vacuole? Now, when a cell, right, what do you mean by turgid? Turgid means when it is fully swollen up or when it looks full proper and its size, right? Now, if I have a raisin, right? So imagine I have a raisin, it's looking all wrinkly and sad and I say no life only, right? So we say that this right here is flaccid, right? No life, it is me, right? But if I put it in a hypotonic solution or I put it in water, it will be fully distended, right? It will have its proper structure. Now this is because of the water which exerts some pressure. So we say that this right here it is turgid because it is swollen up, right? And we call this condition as turgidity, right? So we call this as turgidity. I have taught this topic. It's not like I have not taught. I have taught it. I am just helping you once again, right? So now we know that this condition is what we call as turgidity. Now, if water, now when we say cell is swelling up, right, or if I say that cell has, lost water, where is this water going? Especially in the case of plant cell, right? If I say that the cell has swollen up, excess water that is there is going into your vacuole only, right? Which is why we see that this right here, right? We see that providing turgidity and rigidity, like making the cell turgid, I would say that. See, when it is turgid, it has a certain structure, right? That is what we mean by it, okay? That is what we mean by rigid. See, if you have, let me give you an example. Balloon ka example, let's take. If there's a balloon which has no air, is it rigid? I can do like that, it'll keep flapping around. But if there's a balloon which has air in it, it is fully in its structure, right? And we see that this right here is also giving rigidity, right? Rigidity is something you say for cell wall. Cell wall also has a role, okay? Cell wall also has a role in rigidity, okay? But it's also partly a function that is there, right? Okay. Shall we move on to the next one? Shall we move on? Amoeba acquires its food through a process termed as what? Exocytosis, endocytosis, plasmolysis, exocytosis and endocytosis both. Yes? Very quickly. Okay. Alright everybody, most of you here have got the answer so far. All of you here have given me your answers. You're actually at 15 out of 15 at this point, right? All of you are at 15 out of 15 and 84% of you have voted for the correct answer. So the correct answer here, we can end the poll. Almost 80% of you have got the answer, which is nothing but option B, endocytosis, right? Now what is endo? Endo means inside, right? Endo means inside. Exo, that is there, as you all know. Happy birthday, Shreya. Happy birthday to you. Exo means outside, right? So as you all know, if endocytosis, if you are saying that amoeba acquires its food, it takes it inside its body. So we call it as endocytosis. Exocytosis means it is going outside, right? So this is the process by which things expel or the cell expels food outside its body. So exo is exit. Very good, Palak. Exo can be exit. Endo can be enter. So you can remember it in this manner, right? So with this everybody, all of you have scored 16 out of 16. Yes? 1 mark, 16 out of 30 you have scored in just 16 questions. Are you all ready for the remaining 14 questions? We'll pace it up a little so that we can wind up in the next 15 minutes. Yes? Very good. Waste excretion happens through exocytosis. Okay, let's go to the next one. Cell wall of which among these is not made up of cellulose? Bacteria, hydrilla, mango tree, cactus. Happy birthday to all my students. I think Akash ka birthday is also there today. Very good. Happy birthday, everybody. Happy birthday. Hope you have a wonderful day. I can see there are two options which I know you will get confused with, and those two options only I can see some confusion happening. Many of you are voting for A. I'm not able to see the poll on my screen at the moment. Can we end the poll, please? Confused between A and B. Askin, happy birthday to you. Yes. Can we end the poll? Alright, very good, very good. Now here the poll has ended and let me see the results. Now here, quickly to see, I think many of you voted, many of you were confused between option A and you were confused with option C, right? But now you were confused with option B and option A. See, we all know mango tree that is there is a plant, which means it's made up of cellulose. We know cactus that is there is a plant which is made up of cellulose. Hydrilla, yeah, Shelly, very good. I love that. Shelly says, ma'am, hydrilla is a fancy name, but it's a plant. Exactly. Hydrilla is it's an underwater plant, right? And we know that plant cell wall is made up of cellulose. While bacteria that is there is not plant, it has a cell wall, but it is made up of something called as peptidoglycan. And we know that this right here is not cellulose. Yes, easy peasy. Yes. Moving on to question number 18. This is a little out of syllabus. But silver nitrate solution that is there is used to study what? Endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, nucleus or mitochondria. So everybody quickly. Now this is also slightly tricky because actually there are two answers. There are two answers here, so the poll that is there will be very tricky. Many of you have voted for option B, but I think I confused you. But see, like I said, many of you are saying, ma'am, it should be endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi apparatus, but many of you have given me the answer. Can we just go back a little bit to the answers of the poll? Okay. I'm not able to see the results of the poll on my screen. 54% of you. Yes, 54% of you here have voted for option B, right? Which says Golgi apparatus. It's the correct answer because to stain and observe Golgi apparatus under the microscope, you use silver nitrate solution, and in the small write-up about Camillo Golgi, who discovered the cell organelle, it is given. But if you also read up a little bit online, you will find that endoplasmic reticulum can also be observed using this particular thing. But that's not always the case, right? Because you see that there are various other staining methods in which you can observe endoplasmic reticulum. But as per NCERT, because we have to follow NCERT, correct answer here is option B, which is why I said you might find two answers, but I'm glad that some of you did get confused with what I said, but some of you didn't get confused. But now are we clear? Right? Because I know you will tell me, ma'am, I read something else. Oh, ma'am, it should be endoplasmic reticulum also. Right? Which is why you need to follow what is there in NCERT at all times. Yes, are you all with me? Right? Are we all clear? Okay. Yes. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Right? I don't want you to get confused because I know side by side you'll also be searching online and you'll be like, ma'am, endoplasmic reticulum could also be the answer. Right? That is why I told you. I made sure that all of you are following this. Yes? Okay. So now, everybody, let's move on to question number 19. Right? Organelle other than the nucleus, which has DNA in it. Is it ER, Golgi, mitochondria, lysosome? Which other cell organelle has DNA? Now this is so easy. Easy peasy. All of you can close your eyes and you can sleep. Give me the answer. Shinshan answer for the previous question is, in order to identify, right, if you have to observe Golgi apparatus under the microscope, you have to use silver nitrate solution, right? So correct answer here is option A. Option B in that case. Very good, very good. I think we can wind up the polls, right? Students, I hope all of you have hit the like button on this video, and if not, forget to hit the subscribe button if you are enjoying, because I can see very few likes have come on this video. So need to hit at least 150 likes before I wind today's class up, right? Very good. We know that mitochondria, that is there. Mitochondria, nucleus and chloroplasts are the only structures that have genetic material or that have DNA in them, which is why the correct answer here is option C. Very good. Now let's move on to question number 20. I don't even need to read this question. Kitchen of the cell. Mitochondria, ER, chloroplast or Golgi body. ER does not have its own DNA. ER has the ability to synthesize proteins but not own DNA. But if you take mitochondria and cut it into half, you will find DNA inside it. Close your this 7th standard question. Okay, this is 7th standard question. All of you, I need to see 90% giving me the answer. 7th standard may we have learnt, right, that kitchen of the cell is what? Yes, exactly. This is the easiest question. But even then I can see some of them are going wrong, right? But it's okay. Whoever went wrong, it's fine. You tend to make mistakes, but it's an easy one. So when you say kitchen of the cell, we are talking about the structure or the cell organelle which has the ability to synthesize food, right? And which among the cell organelles has the ability to synthesize food? It is nothing but chloroplast, right? Chloroplast has the ability to synthesize food, or we know that chloroplast has a pigment in it called as chlorophyll, which has the ability to trap sunlight, and we know that carbon dioxide and water combine in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, giving us glucose, and we call this as photosynthesis, right? So correct answer here is option C. Yes? Moving on to question number 21. Now so far you guys I think are at full marks, right? So I think you all are at 20 out of 30. Even if you made some mistakes here and there, I think I have unnoticed it or whatever, but I am giving you full marks, 20 out of 30, okay? Yes. 20 out of 30. Next 8 minutes, 10 questions. So let's get started. Lipid molecules in the cell are synthesized by what? SCR, RER, Golgi, plastids. We are talking about lipid molecules, right? So the poll is live for all of you. This is very easy. We have already discussed. We know that lipids are an integral part of your cell membrane, which we call as phospholipids, right? So we know that there is a structure which is responsible for it. And here I can see most of you here have got the answer. Well done, all of you, well done. Correct answer is option A. We know that the primary function of the SER in this case, right? SER in this case is going to be function or synthesis of lipids. Moving on to question number 22. Again, a very simple one, which is part of cell theory. Cells that arise from pre-existing cells. This particular statement was added to the cell theory by who? Was it Haeckel, Virchow, is it Hooke or Schleiden? Who added the statement into cell theory that cells arise from pre-existing cells? Yes? Poll is live, everybody. Fatafat, you go ahead and give me the answer. Very good. Now I can see that 88% of you. Okay, almost 92%. Very good. 93 votes in. And very good, easy peasy. We know that the cell theory was proposed by 2 scientists, but the third statement was added by Virchow, where he added to the cell theory that cells arise from pre-existing cells. Moving on to question number 23 is again stated by cell theory. We had a poll question on our channel as well. Cell theory was given by which 2 scientists? Schleiden and Schwann, Virchow, Hooke or Haeckel? Now, yeah, see, pronunciations with, people's name, I try my best to, I think it's called Virchow, could be Virchow, it could be. My pronunciations are a little here and there, okay, at some times, so please don't mind that. It's not Virchow, because we just know that he added a point to cell theory, which was much later, right? It was given much later, but who proposed cell theory? Who are the first 2 people who proposed it? I leaked the answer also. 96 of you have given me the correct answer. Swayam Swayambhutanya Panda, what doubt? I think you asked me the lysosome doubt, I clarified that, but if I missed another doubt, you can just send the doubt to me, right? Please send it to me, I will check. Hooke, of course, discovered cells, right? He was the one who coined the term cell. Haeckel, that was there, he was involved in classification majorly, right? So, of course, diversity chapter very sadly is not there for all of you, but when you talk about classification of living organisms into kingdoms, we see that Haeckel had a very important role, right? Yes. What is Haeckel? No. Who is Haeckel, right? So, he was a scientist who played a very important role in classification. Okay, now we have 7 questions in 4 minutes, so jaldi, let's move on. The only cell organelle seen in prokaryotic cell is, right? Mitochondria, ribosomes, plastids, lysosomes. Yes? Which is the correct answer here? Cell organelle seen in prokaryotic cells. Let's move on. Harsimran, if you are somebody who inspires or you want to take up biology in 11th and 12th, that's a pretty important chapter, right? Yes. Ma'am, how do waste products like carbon dioxide come out of the cell? See, carbon dioxide go out of the cell with the help of the process of diffusion, right? So from high concentration to low concentration, they diffuse out of the cell, okay? So I hope I have answered your doubt. Alright, so I think we can wind up the polls because all of you have got it correctly, because we know that ribosome is the only cell organelle which we find in prokaryotic cells, and we do not find membrane bound cell organelles in the case of prokaryotic cells. Moving on to question number 5. An organelle without a membrane is what? Ribosome, Golgi, is it chloroplast or nucleus? Yes. Now very quickly everybody, yes, okay. Shreya, I'm not understanding osmosis. See, if you want an in-depth chapter explanation or concept explanation, I request you to watch another video which I've done which specifically talks about transport of substances, right? So in that I've explained osmosis in greater detail, but simply if I have to define it, it's nothing but when there is difference in water concentration, there is movement of water from region of high concentration to low concentration, right? Yes. Alright, okay. So many of you have got the answer correctly. The correct answer here is option A, ribosomes, because I just told you that in prokaryotic cells we don't find any membrane bound organelles, which means that ribosome here is an organelle without a membrane, right? It has a coating that is there, but we will not consider it as a membrane. Yes. So 25 out of 25 so far, right? So 25 out of 25 so far for all of you. Let's move on to question number 26. 1 micrometer. This is slightly tricky. Yes, 1 micrometer is represented in this manner. How much is 1 micrometer? This will take you way back into physics, where you've learned about units and measurements and all of that. So you have centimeter, then you have, millimeter, then you have micrometer. I have given you a clue, right? We are talking about centimeter, millimeter, micrometer, nanometer, goes on like that. So here this is 10 to the power 6 meter, 10 to the power minus 6 meter, 10 to the power minus 9 meter, 10 to the power minus 10 meter, or 10 to the power minus 3 meter, right? Yes. I'll give you a clue. We know that 1 centimeter can be written as 1 by 100 meter, right? I hope, I'm right. 1 by 100, or which we say as 10 to the power minus 2. Similarly, if I write 1 millimeter, it is going to be 1 by 1000, right? Meter, which I can also write 10 to the power minus 3. 1 micrometer, that is there, right? We see that 1 micrometer is 10 to the power minus 6. Right? So it is 10 to the power minus 6. It is because it is 1 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? So that is why the correct answer here is option A. That is 1 micrometer. Right? And this is how we get the conversion. Now moving on to question number 7. Lysosomes arise from which one? ER, Golgi, nucleus, mitochondria. Where do lysosomes arise, or who is responsible for synthesis of lysosomes? Very quickly. Everyone quickly in the chat. And if you have not hit the subscribe button, see, if you enjoyed today's class, immensely immensely. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button on this video. Do not forget to hit the like button on this video as well. We should have at least 150 likes on this video, right? So now, of course, I can see many of you have given me the correct answer. The correct answer is Golgi apparatus. Now, we know that the enzymes which you find in the lysosomes can be synthesized by ER, but lysosomes in itself is synthesized by Golgi apparatus. Yes, Shreya, yes it is. Now, question number 28, last 3 questions. Now, of course, let's assume I took 3 minutes to do my intro and I have 3 more minutes. Living cells were discovered by who, right? Living cells were discovered by who? Robert Hooke, Purkinje, Leeuwenhoek, or Robert Brown? So everybody who's asking me why can't it be ER for the previous question, I'm explaining it to you once again. ER synthesizes proteins that can become enzymes which are present inside the lysosome, but the lysosome in itself is formed by Golgi, right? So correct answer is Golgi. Now here when we're talking about living cells, we are specifying that it is living, right? Which is why we know that Robert Hooke, although he coined the term cells, we know that he discovered dead cells. Yes, Purkinje that was there, of course, did not discover living cells, but he was responsible for, discovering protoplasm. Robert Brown discovered nucleus, which is why Leeuwenhoek is the pronunciation. Leeuwenhoek discovered living cells and he called it as animalcules, right? So he was the one who discovered living cells for the first time. So correct answer here is option C, and many of you gave me the correct answer, although some of you got confused with Robert Hooke. But now I hope you are clear, right? And so far 28 out of 28. I am a very lenient teacher. Yes? Yeah, you should learn diversity chapter. It'll be easy for you in 11th. Otherwise 11th will become a little scary. Moving on to question number 29 and then question number 30. Okay? Question number 29 is select the odd one out. Now, option A is movement of water across semi-permeable membrane is affected by the amount of substances dissolved in it. Membranes are made up of organic molecules like proteins and lipids. Molecules in an organic solvent can easily pass through it. Plasma membrane consists of chitin sugar in plant. Chitin. Just. I have leaked a little bit, but I can see that lot of confusion between A, B and C. Now this is very simple. A, B and C are all talking to you about plasma membrane, right? They're all talking to you about plasma membrane, or they're talking about membranes. But here they're saying that it is made up of chitin sugar in plants. Now we know chitin that is there, as we all know, is something that makes up cell wall in fungi. Okay? We do not find it in the case of plasma membrane. We find phospholipids, we find proteins, we find cholesterol, but we do not find chitin sugar, right? We find that in cell wall in fungi, which is why the odd one out is option number D. Now, although a large percentage of you got confused, many of you got the correct answer, right? Now, moving on to the last question for today. Yes, last question. Last question is an assertion reason question. Assertion statement says that mitochondria and chloroplasts are semi-autonomous organelles. The reason here says that they are formed by the division of pre-existing organelles as well as they contain DNA, okay? But they lack protein synthesis machinery. Now you have 4 options from which you need to identify the correct answer. Yes? Hello, intelligent boy. Hello. I hope you don't have my one and only request that you are going to ask me. Okay. Students who are regular in my class, you all know how to do assertion reason questions, right? So assertion statement will be there. Reason statement will be there. Step number 1. Just see if it is true or false, right? First do true or false. Only if both statements are true, you go to step number 2, right? After assertion statement, ask yourself why. Then you will be able to assess it. Yes? Hello, Rashmi. Hello. Okay. So with this, of course, as I can see, 52% of you have given me the correct answer, right? Yes. So as you all know, right, assertion statement says that Mitochondria and chloroplast are semi-autonomous organelles. So step number 1 is to do true or false. So this statement is true. Reason statement says that they are formed by division of pre-existing, organelles. Okay. They have DNA. Okay. But they lack proteins and this is machinery. They don't have ribosomes. Absolutely not. This statement is false. Which is why the correct answer here is option C. So with this everybody, in 1 hour 5 minutes, we finished 30 questions and all of you here scored 30 after 30 out of 30. So with this everybody, of course, I'm somebody who likes giving stars. So 5 stars to all my students, right? 5 stars for all of you. Now personally, I know some of you went wrong here and there and I like the fact that you are sharing your marks with me. So very quickly, I have a small homework for all of you. Yes? Now this is your homework, right? First and foremost, what next do you want, right? Do you want to do long answer questions, or is it that you want us to have maybe some other kind of, specific topic revisions that you want to do for the chapter? What is it that is going to be helpful for all of you? You let me know in the comments of this video. And of course, we will be doing a doubt solving session very soon, so don't worry about that. But just let us know what doubts you have in the comments of the video as well, so that we can take those doubts and really help you all out, right? So let us know in the comments of this video, and of course I hope you've not forget to hit the like button on this video, because BYJU'S 9th and 10th has got you covered. So please everybody, hit the like button. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button, right? So don't forget to hit the subscribe button and share this video. So everybody, thank you so much for being a part of today's class. I hope you enjoyed today's class. You found this helpful. Let me know in the comments of this video and I will see you soon. But up until then everybody, take care, lots of love and bye bye.